Hello and welcome to day 2 of our January Challenge 2024. Today we're going to look at just a 4-bar section from bar 9, our third line of the piece. I'll play it for you first and then we'll talk through it. So the first thing to notice is that the left hand for this part is identical to our very first line of the music. We have our F, C, thumb ready on the A so that we can hop our finger 2. Okay, now that's not marked in on the music anymore because it's already happened once, and the idea is that you take your knowledge from, oh yes, that's how I use the fingering for that shape, and you apply it here. So 4, 2, hop, and then thumb on the A. Then we have our A, E reaching up to the C, coming back down to the A. Then our B, F, B, just a normal octave shape, crossing under. Notice how my thumb really uses that knuckle to bend. And then opening up to A, E, A, nice and steady. And again, bending beautifully in. Okay, I think a big part of especially the fingers when we're stretching out like this, being able to bend nicely into the palm and make that rich sound. A big part of it is to do with what are your other fingers doing when you've placed. So if you open up and place, let's look at that last bar, the A, E, A. Okay, so we open up. Now I tend to try and aim with my thumb, because if I go, oh, it's an A and it's an E and it's an A, I might sort of try and see that finger going on, see that finger going on, see that, and I'll already end up in a more awkward sort of claw-like shape. I'm just going to shake that out of my hand. But if I come in and go, well, I know it's an octave and I know what an octave feels like. So I'll focus on where my thumb is landing, allow the others to open up. My finger 2 will naturally fall into that 5th position because it's just so commonly used, so beautifully used, and such a normal left-hand shape that's where finger 2 wants to go. Now, for me, I'm almost like imagining I'm hanging off a ledge, and only the things that are hanging only things that are connected to my ledge need to be engaged. So my A, E, A, for the fingers that are on those, they're engaged. My other fingers don't need to be actively involved in this because they're not touching strings. So I don't need them up here being tense. I'll shake that out again. I can just let them dangle down. If I show you through the strings on my other hand, my right hand doesn't do this shape as much, but there, just letting these ones be really relaxed and dangly underneath, rather than being tense and trying to be engaged like that, which immediately changes the feel of my thumb. And it means if my fingers are up like that, I'm going to pluck up there. And then where's my thumb going to go? I'm going to end in a more unusual shape if I can have that nice and relaxed. And that art of pulling into the hand is actually really effortless. Rather than being something huge and difficult to do, it's the easiest thing in the world because that's just naturally where it wants to fall. I'll shut up and move on. Okay, so left hand shapes, same as we learnt on day 1 for line 1. Melody wise, we're following the same pattern, but it's been embellished. We're taking it further. It would be really dull if it was identical to line 1. Doesn't need to be. So we do start with an F going to an E like we did at the beginning, and we're going to do that beautiful thumb. And then we are going to play D moving to an E, but we're going to add more notes now. So we'll play the D, then we're going to add fingers 2 and 4. 2 goes onto the red C, 4 down onto the G. And notice how I just open my hand. Yeah, and let them fall into place. I haven't curled them up here first. I haven't sort of gone, it's this and then it's this. Just open them up and let them fall open. Okay, then we can play that thumb. Oops, not falling off. Play finger 2. And now I'm going to let my hand move over that 4th finger, so I'm no longer stretching so much. And I'm going to let my finger 3 fall open onto the A. I can play my 4. Again, just taking it nicely in, letting it fall into my hand, and then finger 3. And there I end up with that lovely closed hand again. Okay, so putting that into more speed. We've got all these directional placings. That's why we're not sort of putting too much on in one go. So at the moment I'm heading up from the D to the E, so I play my D. Now I'm going to head down so I can get everything that's on its way down, the C and the G. I play that top note, play this note, and then from here I'm going to go up. So I'm taking my hand over it, and in doing so I make it easy for my third finger to land in. Then I'm going to make sure I've engaged with that finger, a bit of a bend, so I can play that 4 and I can play my 3. Okay, if we try that more in time now, you can join in with me, I'll give you a count. So what I'll count is 1 and 2 and 3, da, dee, da, da, dum. Maybe a touch slower, but that's the count I'm going to give you, okay? I will do it slower so you've got more space to think. So you're ready at the moment with the D and the E. After you've played the D, you're going to nicely, promptly let those other fingers come out. You'll play downwards, we'll move over and let our 3 come on, but we're going to try and do it in time. So here's our count. 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, so now you've got that speed in your head. Let's try that again. So maybe give your arms a shake out if you need to. Let it come up again onto the D and the E. Here's our count. 1 and 2 and 3. Place, move, place. Okay, again, give it a shake out if you need to. Up, landing into place. We'll try one more time. 1 and 2 and 3. Brilliant. It's going to be a little section to practice. This is probably the big reason why we're just doing 4 bars today as well. Even though there's much similarity to the beginning, I want to give you that headspace to get your head around this new fingering and the way to move with it. Moving on, we're going to go G, F, D. So initially we're heading down. So 2 and 3, 2 on the G, 3 on the F. We'll play that 2. And now from the F, we're going to leap up to a D. So now we can get that placed. And that's why it's fantastic that that is a finger 3, because that's a nice size gap for a finger 3. If that was a 2, we'd end up with a slightly awkward size gap and it would be harder to play beautifully. Because that's a nice third finger, we can play that third and then focus on beautiful thumb bending to get that top D. So if we just put that in, we're going to go G, F, and notice at this point I'm not particularly reaching for my thumb. I could be ready hovering a little bit, but I want to play a beautiful G. So I'm going to be over there, I'm going to play the G, reaching up, play my F, and then nicely there. I'm trying not to fall off anywhere. And then to finish we go B, C, so 2, 1. Just lots of time, opening up, B to C, and C is a lovely long note and an important note, so we're going to make sure that we play it beautifully, that we bend that thumb, that we don't just sort of be doing big pushes, not or where it gets lost, but absolutely gorgeous. Okay, let's put all of that right hand together in time now. So we're going to go F, E, D, E, C, G, A, G, F, D, B, C. Okay, that was partly me giving you the notes, but also by singing it, it's worth you doing that. By singing it, you're really internalising what that melody feels like and how it moves and where you want to breathe and where you want to push it through. So starting on the beginning of this line 3, F to E, just the right hand. 1 and 2 and 3 and. My last note was a little bit quiet, but there we are. Okay, so there's lots of space. We'll do it again and I'll talk over it a little bit just to help you feel where those gaps are, where those spaces are. In those spaces, whilst we're letting the music ring out and breathe, we're moving into position for what's next. So F, E, ready? Okay, nice relaxed shoulders. 1 and 2 and 3 and bit of time move, rest, and 3, that's it, and then lots of time there. Well done. Okay, and then before we finish, let's have a little go at pulling that together with the other hand. And this will take a little bit of time with this newer fingering in the right hand. I would definitely take time to get comfortable with this. Do plenty of that on its own, and then do plenty of it with the left hand. It's that balance between really internalising it and getting it into your fingers, but also not overthinking it and turning it into that problem area. If you decide a part of your piece is going to be a problem, then you will build up anxiety over it and it will feel like a problem, and then it will trip you up. So it's that balance of recognising, oh, it's a bit tricky, let's get my head around how I'm going to do it. Recognising that the fingering choice isn't to make it tricky, it's to enable it to be as beautiful as possible. And therefore, it's not tricky fingering, it's just the best fingering. It just happens to be those fingers. And then that pulling it together with that left hand and going, yeah, this is how I make this bit sound beautiful. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of hands together, starting at the beginning of the line. So we're an F in the top, F in the bass. Remember that bass is going to do its hop before opening up to A, E, C. And then a B. Back to the A. Okay. So for all that each bar looks different there, we are much in a similar area. F shape, A shape, B, back to the A. Doesn't have to be thought of as great big movements when you see that pattern there. Okay, let's have a go, a little bit of hands together on this. Okay, I'll maybe do a bit of talking with it as well, so we might not be in time just yet. I'm going to talk you through each bit. So, beginning, I will count you in, but I'm not going to carry on in time, sorry. 1 and 2 and 3 and. So top hand's going to get ready. Now before you carry on, left hand's going to open up to that A, E, C. Top hand's going to go into this lovely move. So after it plays its finger 2, which you can do now, it's going to go onto the C and the G. And then all they're doing is going in opposite directions from the outward to the middle. Okay, ready? And top hand moves on. A. Top hand's going to go G to F. It's going to reach up and our left hand's on a B shape. Ready? And. Going to the B, C. Left hand to the A's. Okay. Now we'll do it in time to get a feel of the flow, and then I'll invite you to join me on the play along to try that over and over. Here we go. Beginning of the line, in time but really nice and steady. F shape, F in the top. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Okay, and the difference there, and something that you want to get to quite quickly, is that by keeping going we don't put pauses in unnatural places or bigger gaps in unnatural places. It is very tempting to sort of pause at the bar line while we place this. So when I talked you through that, that was fair enough, but actually it's ya da da da, and then the next part G F. It's not G, loads of times place, and now I'm going to play my F. G F D. Okay. And that comes back to what I was saying about if you were to sing this to yourself, you can really feel how it phrases, how it fits together, how it belongs to each other. Okay, join me on the play along video and we will put that all together at some different speeds for you. Well done, keep it up.